question is, do you favor policies such as gang injunctions as a way to reduce violence? If so, what is the evidence that such strategies are successful? If not, what do you propose as an alternative approach?
Great question. No, I have been on the public record before, and I'll state it again, that I am not a supporter of gang injunctions. My experience working with young people, as well as a very exhaustive review of the evidence. My background is public policy. I really believe you cannot base important decisions on anecdotes. And so I do not want to see young people caught up in this web of the criminal justice system, and so I do not support them. And this is exactly what I told the Oakland Police Officers Association, as well as the fact that I did not support curfews when I was interviewed by them, and in fact received their endorsement. So, I want to share with you that despite being a youth advocate of 17 years and being very open about my concern about these proposals, I have received their support. And I want to be a new type of bridge between the police department, which has its challenges certainly, and the community. And so I want to share that point with you, and I think we can bring this relationship into a new era with a council member such as myself.
Len Raphael. Again, I've changed on this. I actually spoke in front of the city council in favor of gang injunctions. I've come around to the conclusion that until we bring OPD under civilian control, it would be inviting abuse to use gang injunctions. And in fact, the more I've spoken to both police and to people who are policy people, the dirty little secret is that OPD is run by OPOA. And it's bad that you have sort of a progressive conservative or a conservative progressive like me having to tell you that. It should be these progressives telling you that. But no, it's not good. It's not good. We have to bring them under tight management before we give them another penny, before we increase their size, before we do gang injunctions or anything else. Thank you.
Richard Ryan. Those of you who have spoken to me know that I think Oakland is on the verge of greatness right now. But as long as we have 100 murders a year, we will never be great. I am in favor of ending the gang injunctions and replacing it with the ceasefire approach. And ceasefire is data-driven, it's collaborative, and it's proven. It's data-driven in the sense that it focuses on the 5% of criminals committing most of the crime. So instead of going in and profiling the whole neighborhood, you actually deal with the guys that are actually committing most of the crimes. It's collaborative, which means that it's not as expensive as hiring more police. It's collaborative because it asks the police department to collaborate with probation and parole and the district attorney, as well as with families and clergy and social services like drug and alcohol treatment and job training. And it's proven. It started in Boston, and they went from 73 murders one year to 0 the next year. It spread to cities like Cincinnati, Baltimore, Los Angeles, and it's been evaluated and shown to work. And if there's something out there that works, that isn't expensive, we have no excuse as a city to not implement it now.
Good evening, Don White.
Yeah.
I do support the gang injunction, in particular the North Side Oakland gang injunction. It is centered in Bushrod Park, which is right in the middle of Miami. Since the gang injunction went in, drug dealing at 59th and Shattuck, which has been endemic for the last 31 years I've lived in the beat, stopped. It just went away. The interesting thing about the Northside Oakland injunction is that it's more like a restraining order than what you would call a typical gang injunction. Typical ones are indiscriminate. They label and they sweep widely. This named 15 individuals by name who were enjoined from doing illegal things in a specific area and from consorting with other people named by that injunction in that area. The gang warfare that's gone on in beats 10 and 11 basically slowed down and stopped. There were fewer shootings in both of these beats, and as someone on the ground, it's been active on the ground for 22 years, I can tell you it made a difference in my beat and the ones adjoining. And it hasn't hurt anybody. One arrest was made under that injunction.
Run away to where? Right? Yes, let's just pushing the crime out of your neighborhood is not getting us anywhere. These are intractable problems, and there's no easy answers. And I'm opposed to the gang injunction for a very simple reason. It's bad law. It's using civil law in a criminal case where you don't have the burden of proof that you should have in a criminal case, and it has done the immeasurable crime of dividing our communities. I was talking about unity before. This is exactly the kind of thing that creates mistrust, creates disunity, brings people apart from each other, and it takes us away from doing things that we do agree on and we know that work. And those things are the diversion programs, making a place for our parolees, working on community policing, and then, more than anything else, we have 4 things that we need to pay attention to. Parolee recidivism, homelessness, substance abuse, and student truancy. Those are not easy issues, but we need to pay attention to them.
Greg Grant. I have strong reservations about gang injunctions. I also feel like down here that they just push the problem to another neighborhood, and that doesn't solve anything, does it? With regards to identifying 15 gang members in a neighborhood, I think that's a good thing. I think that the police should be focused on the worst players in the neighborhood. The neighbors I've talked to, they're worried about it. They don't want to see crime just rampant on the streets. And granted, this may decrease some of the crime. The serious crime probably hasn't gone down. But the injunctions are there to focus the police attention. But again, you tend to just push it into another neighborhood. So it's not a long-term solution, never will be. The long-term solutions are the things that we've heard already about Project Ceasefire, Restorative Justice, youth programs. We need to balance it out with that. So that's where I'd like to see this go.
Hi, Dan Call. I also do not favor the gang injunctions, but I'll tell you what I do favor, and I've been making this the centerpiece of my public safety platform for over a year now, maybe several years. We need to invest more seriously and more heavily in effective anti-recidivism programs. Who commits the most crime? People who have committed crimes before, previous offenders. In terms of gangs, there needs to be immediate intervention. If they're incarcerated and about to come out, there needs to be intervention right before they come out and immediately after they come out, because it's the first couple days when they're most likely to go back to their gang and start misbehaving. So if there's immediate intervention and opportunities that they've shown opportunities before they get back into their gang activities, then we can move them in a more positive direction. High school diploma. Once you get a high school diploma, recidivism rate goes way down. Anti-violence training like they have in other counties and other cities. We need to have that now. Alameda County and Oakland needs to be part of that. Drug rehab, vocational training. Like I said many, many times, a decent education, which is at minimum a high school diploma, and a pathway to a job are the best deterrents of crime, whether you're a gang member or not. Thank you.
I don't believe in gang injunctions. They don't work. For many reasons. For many of the reasons that you stated. Not fiscal prudent for us to do that. What happens when you have a 30 list, people on the list, goes to 300, and then it goes to 3,000? What are you really enforcing? And you're really not solving crime. We have 94 murders here today. And this is really what upsets me, because we start talking about this like this was an issue in Oakland, when this was conjuncted and put together by folks that wanted to appease a few folks that wanted to make sure that we showed like we were tough on crime, and the city council was doing something. We're spending minutes of our time talking about gang injunction when it's not really an issue that doesn't work. They know it doesn't work. I know it doesn't work. You know it doesn't work. But here we are talking about something that is not going to happen in Oakland, and we have to fight it. Because a few people want to show that they're tough on crime. It doesn't work. Thank you.
gang injunctions. Look, it's a targeted tool that is specific to certain individuals within a safety zone. It just moves crime away from that safety zone. Has it brought down the crime rate? No. 5 shootings in the last 18 hours. It shows you that it does not bring down the crime rate. It just moves it around town. I'm about crime reduction and violence prevention. Let's do long-term solutions. Let's figure out long-term solutions to be able to bring this crime rate down. It's about long-term solutions. Don't move the crime around from one district to the other or one area to the other. Gang injunctions don't work. It's proven fact.
I support curfews. I believe that youngsters should be at home doing their homework, helping their mom and dad, learning how to read and write, learning how to cook, doing something productive at home. They shouldn't be on the street, looking for something to do. They should be at home helping grandma. But that's a responsibility that we as adults must take. The other one about gang injunctions. I support gang injunctions. I support the ceasefire. I support other tools, technology that would allow us to deal with the safety issue that we have. Because it's a real issue. It may not be an issue in your neighborhood, but it is an issue in mine. So we need all the tools necessary to be able to be serious about it as adults. And we're trying to help young people. We don't want to see, be sitting here making excuses why young people are being killed overnight. We got to step up as adults and take responsibility and do whatever we can to make sure that our kids are at home learning and so forth. And so I support all the tools that we need to make sure that our kids remain and continue to grow and be safe, as well as the job creation and education. Thanks.
Thank you. Now, each of you will have an opportunity